Now we will discuss software development life cycle. Initially, what are the phases of software development life cycle? Planning, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, and maintenance. Since I have discussed little bit earlier, now you might have some sort of understanding about what are these activities that we will start again. Planning. Planning on software that required to develop. Now, software development life cycle, in the first point, we want to plan the software. We want to provide the technical feasibility, or we have to tell technically we can do this. Think if your requirement is to develop some application technical infeasible, there's no any technical thing. I'll get an example. Your customer is asking to develop your customer is asking to develop a software that is running in every language in the world. The your software should support to the all languages, and it should be grammatically perfect, and it should be run all the software devices, mobile devices throughout. At the moment, world, there are a lot of languages, natural languages are there. Unfortunately, even for Sinhala, there's no proper implementation in there. At that case, we have to plan the software. At the moment, this is technically infeasible, but if we have additional cost, then we can perform some sort of activity, or we can allocate some another resource people or set of resources and ask them to develop for Sinhala, but not for all the languages. If your customer is speaking continuously, I want for the all languages, then we have to tell, sorry, we can't allocate for all languages, and make sure the customer is happy because of the your explanation. This is a technical problem. We can't allocate all the languages. So if you want, we can make it for Sinhala, but there's an additional cost. And that way, you can mitigate the risk. You can discuss with your customer while the planning. And in the other case, if it is technically feasible, like if you want to develop small e-commerce application like eBay, no need to discuss or bargain furthermore, because you know the cost and you know the everything, the theory behind the e-commerce applications. There's a cart and you edit, then the customer would pay it. Likewise, the cycle also well known. So nothing to worry about that. We can very easily plan such a scenario. There are two scenarios I have spoke to. The first one is technically uncertain or technically infeasible. At that case, there should be some sort of discussion. The second case I speak about, well established technical solutions. We don't want to much worry about that. We can clearly start the project, or we can start with the kick-off project. There's a project kick-off, that means the initialization of the project. The next point is analysis. Now we have gathered the requirement, it's planned, well planned. Now this is the analysis about the feasibility study. Now under the analysis, you have to mention about large variety of situations. It can be cost, it can be time, it can be procurement. Now think your system is asking for a software and it requires a hardware from another country. But unfortunately, that country would not export any sort of that hardware device to any other world. At that case, under this feasibility analysis or the feasibility study, we have to explore we are unable to perform the activity. Now, feasibility study is very thorough analysis. It can be cost even very costly. Think we can tell this project would complete within 5 billion. Are you okay? It's a feasibility study. It has very deeper analysis, so you should have proper feasibility study before going beyond. If not, there might be unfortunate or black dots for your company. So analysis is highly responsible in many cases while the software development and design. Now at the analysis phase, it's filtered out. Yes, now we can do it. Analysis confirmed. Yes, it's technically feasible and budget is there, cost is scope is there, and scope means what are the requirements there, and we have sufficient funds, and we can continuous until this time period, and this contract would this much of worth, and we can start the after analysis confirm. Now it starts with the design. Now we have to design the software, how the software should work, what are the entities are involved. Entities means users or automated roles. I will give an example. Under the design phase, we can think we will get an example back again. The university assignment submission system. At that case, we have to define the roles. What are the roles? Lecturer, student, and an administrator. These are the human roles. And there are non-human roles or automated jobs. What are these automated jobs are? We have to design a job for once a student enroll for the system, we have to provide an automated email for the email confirmation. So this is not, or this is not a human involvement. It's an automated job, right? Or your mobile phone verification. You might get an automated phone confirmation or OTP or something. So this is under technical design or the technical views. What are the technical views? I have spoke about mainly two concepts. One is understanding about the job roles related to the human and what are the job roles related to automated. Especially this design process is involved with designing with different kind of diagrams, use case, ER, DFDs, and lot more. This is the design of the software under the technical views. Now, under the design phase, we have clearly understand how the entities are involved, what are the classes or software packages running. We are running under Python or Java, whatever, and what is the database that we are selecting. It might be SQL or MongoDB, whatever. Design. Under the design phase, we have completed it. It's confirmed now. This is the flow. Now we have arrived to the development process. That is the coding, the design software. Now we are coding the software. Now we are completing with the coding the software, because the requirement is there very clear and everything is now followed up with the technical design. Now just we have to code, because we know what are the packages or what are the system softwares we have to use, what are the things that we require, then just write in the logical component. This requires very high logical thinking and very good understanding about the software, and programming skills. It might be database related skills, it might be programming related skills, or it might be user interface related technologies, usability, how users are involved. So at that case, how we are coding. So these are the coding, different coding levels. It's just set of source codes or programming codes using Python or Java or C Sharp. Now we have completed the development phase. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to test the component. Testing means, again back to the I'm telling, testing means process of confirm the quality of the developed project. If your software is developed well, but unfortunately there are some bugs or it might be not validated. Validation means the software should perform some sort of security checks. I will give an example for a given system that should confirm this is a university student at University of Morocco or University of Colombo or whatever, or Shivaji University, whatever. It should confirm. Under the testing phase, real data and created data are involved. At the testing, we are using some real data too because we want to check it. We want to confirm the software working smoothly without any bugs or any issues. Especially at that case, for the testing, we have to define the scope we have tested. What is that scope means? What is the environment? What is the environment means? Operating system. One is operating system. We have tested this software in Ubuntu 16.04 and it's working 16.4 upwards. And we have tested this software in Windows 7 and upwards. That means 7, 8, and 10. Ubuntu 16.04 upwards means whatever. 0.10, 17.04, 17.010, sorry, 10, 18.04. Likewise, everything is working. In the same way, we can say under the mobile devices, we have checked in Android Lollipop. It's working. Or we have checked in Android Marshmallows. Or we have checked in Android Pie or whatever. We have to define the scope. And if that is running in a browser, we have to tell, we have to check it in Chrome, this version, Firefox, this version, Internet Explorer, this version. Now, it's very comprehensive testing process with the test data. So if you know the permutation and combination, so it's like very large set of values are there to check. So this is now mainly focusing with quality vectors. Nowadays, they are speaking about quality vectors, not only this testing, just testing because currently we are in a world of APIs, application programming interfaces. So you might heard these words sooner or later, but for somehow microservices architecture and event-driven architecture, everything is now testing based on the APIs, endpoints, very, very technically solid environment. So testing is not something simple and easier. The next point is implementation. Implementation means we have to implement it into the real world because from the starting point, we have tested it up to here very clearly. We have tested the software. Now we want to implement it because we want to host into the real world and allow to the end users or the privileged users. Especially, I would like to state privileged users to enjoy their software. After implementation only, the system is accessible by the privileged users. And maintenance. Under the maintenance, this is very rigorous process because think your internet connection or you are facing some sort of issue in your system or the software. What you do is you just give a call or drop a mail to relevant party. That is under the maintenance because at the moment if you are using a software means your software is developed, implemented, tested and implemented. It's in real world. Now whatever the software that you are using is under maintenance. If you have some sort of issue or a bug or it's some sort of technical problem or it's giving incorrect data, at that case you would interact with the maintenance people. These are divided into level 1, level 2 and level 3 scopes. Level 1 is the customer support, mainly focusing with the customers, email communication. Over the phone we can communicate with them and chat with them via different chatting channels like WhatsApp. And that is the L1 people or the level 1 people. They just get the requirement. So initially they'll give a small solution or some sort of quick solution if they have the knowledge or if they have privileges to do some modification. If not, it moves back to the L2 level 2 support. Then they do some sort of technical analysis. Still if the problem persists, then it moves to the level 3 more deeper analysis. Then if that is a requirement, it's a new requirement, it's back again for a request or CR. It moves back to the phases for the planning and it moves back. We will pictorialize this entire situation now. Now, this is very rigorous process. Now it's very clear for you. It's not a simple thing. Uh, it's a cycle. Now, what I have discussed is it's a cycle. It won't stop. Now, I have stopped from maintenance, and I told like if there's new requirement, we should plan back again. Now, at the moment, your company is supporting only for Android, but unfortunately, your business is expanding some in other countries. They are using iPhones. Now, maintenance team would get continuously calls, continuously mails. This system is not working. This system is not working. In that case, back again, the planning team should start, or the project managers, business analysts, directors, CEO, lot of people, the high level people, and technical architects. We are the technical level, the highest people. Everyone is starting for the planning and the analysis again, then design, development, testing, implementation. This process would cycle forever until the project is worth. If your project is not worth, in some point the maintenance would stop. At that point everything would be stopped again. Now I believe that you are very clear about software development life cycle.